Well, how's it going, everybody? I just wanted to give you an update on my scratch build that I'm working on for the plywood plant on my layout. So I've kind of enjoyed doing this. This is the first scratch build I have ever done. So I made a few errors along the way, but luckily I was able to fix them. And I'll kind of go through the steps. Now, you know, on my live stream I cut out the paper, some construction paper, to get a footprint of the building and also the walls. So what I did after that is I went and cut out some foam board, and here's the front and back pieces of the foam board that was the pattern for what I did. So the reason I did it in a couple steps is, being that I've never done a scratch build, I wanted to make sure that everything was done correctly. And so that's why I went through the extra step. You don't necessarily have to do the construction paper first and then the foam board. You can do the foam board first. Foam board's still cheap. But I just wanted to get it as right as possible. So that's why I went through an extra step and did the construction paper. And I was asked a question, why didn't I just cut the construction paper on the angle with the track instead of trying to key off of a backdrop with the paper? And the reason I did that is because my backdrop is not perfectly square. It's kind of wavy in some spots, but it also up and down. It's not just an exact 90-degree angle from my train, from the table. So that's why I went ahead and did it the way I did with the construction paper. And you can go back and watch what I was doing in the live stream. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video, so you can go back and watch if you want. So from that point on, once I got the foam board cut, I cut the walls out of plastic. Now I'll turn the camera around here and show you what I have done so far. So here is the building, and as you can see, I've got my plastic done. And what I did is, the plastic sheets either come in 24-inch or 12-inch lengths. So I took two 24-inch lengths and butted them together, and then I had to add an extra piece here on the end so you can see where my seam is. But the seam doesn't matter because I am going to be putting siding on here, so nobody will ever see the seams. So once I got the plastic together, the sheets of plastic, then I cut out the shape that I needed to based on my pattern. Same for the front wall and for the back wall back there. Once I had everything cut out, I could glue it together. Now I just kept the foam board for the part that's up against the backdrop. This is just the foam board still, and that's all that's really needed. What I'm going to do is, I've got a picture that I'm going to glue on here, picture of an inside of a plywood plant. So that's going to be glued on the back here. Now on the insides, I wanted to give a little detail on the inside. So as you can see, I have put I-beams on the wall. So I glued those I-beams there, but I also glued a 1/4-inch piece of plastic square rod up here, and that just gives it some rigidity, is all that does. And the same with the back, a 1/4-inch piece of rod, but I did the I-beams, so that gives it a lot of rigidity. And then along the wall here, I've got every inch or so, I've got an I-beam as well. And I'm going to glue I-beams on the roof too, because my roof comes in panels, so they're going to need some rigidity as well. So now that you can see what I've done as far as the building construction, I had to build the floor of the plant in here as well. And I was thinking, well, should I, build the floor of the plant on the bottom of the building? So I decided to go a different way with it, and I'll show you what I did. I'm going to put the camera down, if I can do it without disturbing it too much, so you can still see what's going on. And I'm just going to lift the building off here, and there we go. So now the floor of the plant, you can actually see I glued some foam right here on my layout, and that's the floor of the plant. I just cut it to shape so it would fit, and I cut it back from the track so that I would have it just up against the door of the cars. So you can see that runs the length there without touching it, but it is the same height as the door on the freight cars. So that's how I did that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this. This is going to be cement colored, so I'm going to do that. I probably will do a little floor detail. I've got a truck dock back on this side, so the truck dock's going to have a little detail as well. And I'll probably put some things like stacks of plywood in here, things like that. So let me go ahead and put the building back now. Once again, you can see how it fits. So now I've got the building up against the wall. I've got this post here that runs down in front of the cement floor. And all I'm going to need to do is build a slight ramp. And I've got this 80,000 sheet of plywood here. Or, sorry, not plywood, but 80,000 sheet of plastic. And that about brings the semi-trailers up to the correct height. And I'll just move the camera on the inside so you can see that. So there you can see the semi is just about the right height there to be loaded. Now if we look at the freight car as it rolls along, you can just see how high it is against the platform. So it's just about the perfect height. Now what I did with this, once I cut the foam, is I oversized it just a little bit because I had to go and sand it. So one thing good about this foam is you can sand the edges, and you can see how my edge is smooth here, so it'll look like cement once I paint it. And I also took a sanding block and sanded the top as well, because I wanted to give it just a little roughness to simulate some cement. So that is my scratch build so far. Now, we'll live stream on Tuesday night on Uncle Wilmer's channel. Be sure and watch that. The Indian Head Valley will be part 3. So I just wanted to let you know how I got to this so far. And what we're going to do is we're probably going to be putting some of the siding on the building. And for the siding, I bought some corrugated aluminum sheets. And these corrugated sheets are going to be glued along the side. So I know it's going to be a little bit tedious, but that's one of the things we'll be doing and talking about, is gluing things on the side. One other thing I did forget to mention, of course, is I painted the whole interior black, and that's for light blocking. I'm actually going to paint it gray once I have some of the siding on. I want to paint that gray. And my siding is going to be two-tone. Up to a certain height it's going to be medium gray, and then above that a light gray. So that's how the siding's going to work. I know it seems strange to put these tiny pieces of aluminum, but like I said, they're cut into approximately 4x8 HO scale 4x8 sheets of corrugated aluminum. And I think to make the building look right, it's they needed to have that done instead of just a solid sheet. So we're gonna put that on, and I had to order some more I-beams. Hopefully they'll be in. If not, but we can still look at how we're going to construct the roof of the building. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little update. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later.